Hi, friend. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. Hey, today we're continuing this project with this storm-proof, hurricane-proof chicken coop. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to go check out the other videos in this series where we did the foundation out of cinder block, and then we did our framing for the walls, and then last time we did the sheeting on the outside. Last time when I left you, we had just started on the ridge beam for the roof. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We got to get our roof trusses. No, we're not doing trusses. These are roof rafters that are going to go from that ridge beam down to the sidewall. All right, we're going to jump right into it. There we go. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about the roof and the design of the roof. So I'm not doing a typical truss roof. I'm doing a beam and rafter roof with this. It's kind of similar, but just the idea that you've got a center main ridge beam and then your rafters are going to come off of that beam down to the sidewall. Now I've already done a little bit of figuring. I've got my marks on the wall. I got my marks on the beam where my rafters are going to go. I've designed this for a typical 412 pitch. Basically what that means is for every what is it now, for every 12 inches of run there's 4 inches of rise. So basically my building is 8 by 8 feet, so that means from the center to the corner is 4 feet. So 48 inches of run, I have 16 inches of rise. I went a little higher because I want to make sure that the rain runs off good. But that's it. Now the interesting part of this is going to be me trying to get a good vantage point so you can see what's going on. Now obviously right now I'm standing on a ladder, but I gotta see if I can get this camera set up somewhere where you've got a good vantage point. Okay, now this is probably going to seem silly, but I got my tripod sitting on a pallet on the front end of the tractor that I can raise up so I can give you fine folk a good vantage point when I'm working up there on the roof. But first we need to cut some wood. I got these 1x6s I'm going to use as my roof trusses. All right, so let's get them taken care of and then we'll head up to the roof. Okay, so there we go. I got 10 rafters cut, 5 for each side. And the other thing, if you noticed, they are all cut on a little bit of an angle because of that pitch where the rafter meets the ridge board, and then when it's going to hang off the edge here a little bit, I want that to be, kind of straight so that when the water will drip off it without touching the wood. Now I kind of know from experience that I set my saw to 22.5 degrees, and that's close enough to make that angle fit when I nail it and screw it up there. All right, so now next for the fun part, I'm going to put you up on the tractor, and I'm going to get up there on the ladder and start putting some roof boards up. Okay, I got my first roof rafter up, and there's a little bit of a problem. I was expecting this to hang over almost 6 inches, and well, I seem to have made a miscalculation. I'm not above admitting when I make a mistake, so I got to do some measuring and figure out where I went wrong. Stand by. Okay, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is I apparently mismeasured my center point on this side, because this center point is only 43 inches that way, but it's 49 inches that way. The other side is right in the middle where it should be. It's like 46 1/4 both directions. So I messed up this side. Now the good news is I noticed it on my very first board. So I have to take this apart, pull this apart, and move it over where it actually belongs. The reason why I say that's good news is because I didn't start on that side and get the whole roof done over to here before I realized it was wrong. All right, so I gotta pull some stuff apart, which I hate doing, but I have to. All right, here we go. We're gonna fix my mistake. Okay, roof rafters are done, and I don't know if you saw what I was doing there. Not only did I nail the rafters in, but I also put a couple of screws in just to prevent any lifting. Okay, so now the next step, because I'm doing corrugated roofing, is I've got to do what's called purlins, and purlins go this way across the roof. I only need like 3 of them, and they can be pretty much any kind of scrap wood you want. It's basically just something to screw the corrugated roofing to. So you know me, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find some scrap plywood or something like that to use as the purlins. All right, here we go. And the other thing I got to do is I got to do a piece of 2x4 or something here. Just give me something to attach this piece of plywood that's going to go here too. Okay, well, let's get into it. All right, I'll invite you up here to the roof with me to show you my handiwork. So I use some kind of junk 3/4 inch plywood. This is my purlins. That's what the roof's going to be attached to. And then I use some little pieces to just fill in those gaps along the edge so that my metal drip lip will sit level along the edge of the roof there when I go to install it. And speaking of junk 3/4 inch plywood, I had a thought. So I was thinking about the fact that my wall studs were repurposed from the subframe of the old chicken coop, and my roof purlins that I just showed you were repurposed from the floor of the old chicken coop. So what was on the bottom is now on the top. Does that mean this chicken coop is in the upside down? What was that? Okay, so now it's time to get going on drip lip, and when that's done, we can get some actual corrugated roofing on the roof. Alrighty, let's get back into it. that was pretty quick and easy. Got our drip lip up. So basically what that does is, you see it's got that little lip there on the edge. And as the water comes off the main part of the roof, if the wind's blowing and it tries to curl underneath the corrugated material, it'll hit the front edge of this drip lip and then drip off of the drip lip. That's called drip lip. And prevents, what we're basically trying to do is just prevent any water from touching the plywood there, because plywood is very susceptible to rotting, where everything else is kind of pressure treated wood that I'd use, so we're not worried about that so much, but we're just trying to keep the water off of the plywood. And so now, the moment that we've all been waiting for, we're going to get some corrugated roofing on this, and this thing will be dried in. All right, here we go. All right, well, that's a great accomplishment. We got the roof completely 100% done. And you notice that I almost made a mistake. So I wanted to put like a little skylight window in the roof, and that basically just gives a little natural light inside the chicken coop during the day, because it's going to be totally closed off. The chickens go in there to lay their eggs. They got to be able to see a little bit. So there's a tiny little skylight for some natural light inside the chicken coop, for during the day. But the good news is it is done. I don't have to climb on the ladder anymore, and I don't have to walk on the roof anymore, and my legs greatly appreciate that. All right, so next thing we're going to be doing is starting to put siding on the outside. And I got to go get some reclaimed metal siding that I have over there by the shed, and then we'll get into doing that. Alrighty, here we go. All right, so I guess at this point, it's as good a time as any to talk about the difference between metal corrugated and the PVC corrugated that I used on the roof. Now, I have used both types on roofs in the past, and here's my thoughts. Even though you think the metal would be way more resilient, the opposite is true in my opinion. The PVC is way more resilient to wind, and if it does get damaged, like for example, those two chicken coops and the juvenile house have been through 2 Category 2 or Category 3 hurricanes that we've had here at this property. And yes, the PVC did take a little damage on the other chicken houses. But the thing of it is, when it pulls the PVC through, or pulls the screw through the PVC, you just back the screw out, you put a new piece of PVC in, and you screw it back down. Or if it just pulled part of it, you back the screw out, you lay it down, you put a little caulk on the hole, and you put a new screw on. It's so easy to repair, as opposed to The roof of my pavilion over there attached to the house, you can see that that's mostly metal corrugated roofing, but the white part up there at the top is brand new PVC. It took quite a bit of damage from the last hurricane that we had, and the metal that got, basically ripped up was unusable. It was not repairable. So I took all of that first section of steel corrugated roofing off, and the pieces that could be salvaged is what I'm using here today for this wall siding. Now, if I run out of this repurposed stuff, and again, the only reason I'm using it is because I have it and I hate throwing stuff away and I like using repurposed stuff. But if I do another chicken coop similar to this style and I don't have any more of this reclaimed steel, I'll buy brand new PVC and use it for the siding, as opposed to the steel. Like I said, the only reason I'm using the steel is because I have it. It's reclaimed, cost me $0. Well, for this use. So that's kind of why I'm doing this differently. And this is also, again, an experiment to see if this holds up on being used as a siding better than it did as being used as a roofing. Okay, so enough of me chit-chatting. Let's get back to it and see what more we can get done. All right, well, I wanted to point out that my idea about doing a plain old piece of corrugated roofing around this corner right here worked out really well. Worked out actually better than I thought it was going to. So that's really cool. I'll be able to skin the rest of this, no problem. And I know it's repurposed, but it's got a, what do they call that? Patina. So it looks like it's already an antique. It's been here for years. There you go. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this weekend. So, hey, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor. If you find my videos fun or interesting, or maybe you learned something, give me a like or a subscribe if you think I deserve it. And don't forget, keep being awesome, spread some kindness, and know that you are valued. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.